Yes. James Fritz, 271 Crutcher Road, Port Townsend, Washington. Yeah, I Googled shadowstats.com, which calculates inflation the way it was done in 1980, and they say the inflation rate is 11%. And the U.S. government has changed how they calculate, and they say core inflation is 2.4%, and overall inflation is 3.6%. Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out if the true inflation rate is 11%, and you can only raise taxes 1%, you're going to have a very difficult time balancing the budget, no fault to your own, obviously. I've got friends at the hospital, and they're really concerned because more and more people can't pay their medical bills. Funding from the state and the federal government is decreasing, and they're saying we might not have a hospital 5 years from now. I mean, it's gonna get touchy, and they're really concerned. The world population at the end of this week will pass the 7 billion people mark. 7 billion. It took 12 years to go from 6 billion to 7 billion. When you go back in history, from 1910 to 1950, at 1910 there were 2 billion. It took till 1955 to reach 3 billion. Now, every 16 years, we add effectively a country the size of China, population-wise, that has to be fed, clothed, and so forth. I mean, the problems facing the world, especially people involved in government, is staggering. At the end of this month, our national debt will equal 100% of the GDP, and that's considered a critical point. Now, essentially what banks have done all over the world, they bankrupt the country, raise the interest rates, and then they say, well, you got to do away with Social Security, aid to agriculture, health, education, welfare, and so forth. And I think that's what they're doing now. Also, for ecologists, there's a chemical they put in plastic to make it flexible called BPA. And a recent study shows that it causes fetal abnormalities and an increase in the number of girl babies born. That women with high BPA are more likely to have a girl baby, and is more likely to have developmental problems by the time it's 5 or 6. And you get in northern Canada or Russia, there are villages where 3 out of 4 babies born are girls because of the concentration of estrogen mimicking chemicals in the environment. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Fritz. Who would like to be next this morning?